ready to head off the trails? I'm the Cryptid Huntress, Jessica Jones, and I'm ready to take you on a mysterious journey right now. We welcome you to Off the Trails right here on Spaced Out Radio's YouTube channel. If you haven't hit subscribe yet, please do. We'd really appreciate the love. And I want to give a huge shout out to Bumblefoot for that amazing intro music. You guys, please follow us on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio, Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show, and on TikTok at Spaced Out Radio. Y'all know you can find me at thecryptidhuntress.com, and please subscribe to my YouTube channel, The Cryptid Huntress. Visit my shop, War Woman Goods. It's on Etsy, and also you can find some of my stuff on my website. Also, I'm offering right now for a limited time personal card readings for people, tarot cards and oracle card readings. So if you guys are interested, y'all go register for those, okay? I have a fantastic guest here at SOR once again. Okay, I have Craig Woolheeder here with me tonight. Okay, and don't forget that right after this show, After Hours has a great program set up for you guys tonight. So let's get to our guest. Craig Woolheeder became interested in cryptozoology as a young child. One fateful night in 1994, he witnessed what he can only describe as a light-colored Bigfoot while driving in Central Louisiana late at night. He co-founded the Texas Bigfoot Research Center in June of 1999 and started hosting the Texas Bigfoot Conference in 2001 in Jefferson. He's the organizer of the annual Bigfoot Film Festival, the Foot Monster Festival, and he's co-founder of the Bigfoot Research Center, and he's the creator of Cryptomundo, the #1 website for cryptozoology news and opinions worldwide. It is a really awesome website. Next weekend, he's going to be hosting the 2022 Texas Bigfoot Conference in Jefferson, Texas. I know a lot of people that are going to be there. Okay, so I cannot wait to talk to Mr. Craig tonight. Y'all, please help me welcome Craig Woolheeder to Spaced Out Radio. Hey, Craig.
Hi, Jessica. How are you tonight?
I'm so good. I'm excellent. I am so excited to talk to you. I've been waiting for this for a while now. You are a busy man, and your life is engulfed in Bigfoot activity here. Okay, you've got websites, conferences, film festivals, you name it. You're all about Bigfoot, and that's right up my alley.
And yet I'm in the dark. Can't you tell?
You are. Well, that's how us Bigfoot researchers roll. We're usually in the dark, right?
We are in the dark, aren't we?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, this is super exciting. I know you're super busy because you have your conference next weekend. And I have a lot of friends that are going to be there.
Yeah.
Including, the guys from Texas Front Porch. I do shows with them. And Josh Turner is going to be there. He's a buddy of mine.
Yes.
So a lot of Bigfoot activity over there where you live.
Yeah, there is a lot of Bigfoot activity in this area. I mean, it's as of 2018, the mayor of Jefferson actually proclaimed it the Bigfoot capital of Texas. I did write the town proclamation, and he just signed it, but it is that way since 2018. We have a Bigfoot statue in town, and all the restaurants have a Bigfoot burger or Sasquatch sandwich or Bigfoot barbecue or whatever. And there's quite a few shops now that carry, Bigfoot souvenirs and stuff. So it's really, the town has really embraced it. And, it's the Bigfoot capital of Texas. So what can you say?
It is. And there's so much activity there. I actually was looking up a map today of the Bigfoot reports all over Texas, and I have some pictures to show. Okay, just to give the audience kind of an idea of how much Bigfoot activity you guys actually have. Okay, so first of all, we've got Jefferson. Well, you're based in Jefferson, am I correct?
Yes, ma'am. I moved here January 1st.
All right. Well, Jefferson is right there.
Yeah, I lived in Dallas, Fort Worth my whole life, but when I decided to, move somewhere else, this only made sense, if not now, when? So, I host events here, and there's a lot of activity, and Cattle Lake is really cool, and a lot of sightings around there, and it's only 15 minutes away. And so, I've been doing my events here for over 20 years. So I decided to go ahead and relocate here.
That's awesome. Well, you got to go where the Bigfoots are. Okay, I understand that. I would too if I were you. But okay, so Jefferson is right there on the corner of the where all the yellow and orange is right there. Those are the concentrations of Bigfoot activity. Okay, and also that's this is from BFRO.
Hmm.
Okay, and right on top of Jefferson is the highest activity. And this is a kind of an older map, but this is just kind of gives you an idea. There's a lot of Bigfoots over there. Okay, where you
Yeah,
are.
and
Yeah.
you apparently do your homework as well.
A little bit, a little bit. Well, I'm a Bigfooter. I like to know where the Bigfoots are. Okay.
That's right. They
Yeah.
like to know where you are too.
They always know where I am. It's a little scary. They know when I'm coming out there, I think.
Uh-oh.
Sometimes. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe not.
Well,
Maybe not.
they say that women have a better chance because they're not as threatening as men to Bigfoots.
I
So
know. They have no idea how threatening I am, though. They have no
oh
clue.
no,
I'm kidding.
if they
Yeah.
only
If only they knew. Yeah, and that's something that I actually don't mind doing when I go out in the field is being bait. We call it bait.
yeah,
And that's kind of going out on your own and making sure people are watching from afar, but
right.
kind of putting yourself out there to attract in the Bigfoots. And it works
Your,
sometimes,
your
but not all
partner,
the time.
your partners, you don't have them like tie you to a tree or anything.
Oh, I wouldn't go. No. That hasn't happened yet. No, I would
Yeah,
I would not be a part of a team that did that to me. I'd be mad. So
yeah.
it is scary out there though. It can be very scary.
Well, I'm a firm believer in safety in numbers.
Yeah, me too.
There's that old joke is that, well, they use it with bears, but you can use it with Bigfoot too. You don't have to outrun the Bigfoot; you just have to outrun your partner.
You do. You have to outrun the slowest person on your team. Okay, that's
Exactly.
that's all you got to do.
You don't
Uh,
have to outrun Bigfoot.
exactly. Exactly. Yeah. Well, Bigfoot is so popular right now. How does it compare to when you first started doing Bigfoot stuff and conferences and things like that? I mean, it may not have been as popular back then because you've been doing this for a while. I mean, I every car I see has a Bigfoot sticker on the back windshield now.
They are. Um, back when I started my conference in 2001, there weren't that many annual conferences. There were only a handful of them that were regular conferences. I got the idea to do it by attending the Ohio Bigfoot Conference in 2000 and then in 2001, and decided, there's nothing like this in Texas. I bet I could do this. And the reason I picked Jefferson, and it wasn't because of the history of sightings or anything, it was because my folks owned a bed and breakfast here in town, and my mom was on the events committee for the Bed and Breakfast Association. So I had resources. It just so happened that it was, a good area for Bigfoot activity. And like I said, the mayor declared it the Bigfoot capital of Texas. So, that's why I'm here. The very first conference here was September 15th, 2001. And, if that strikes a chord with you, that was because it was 4 days after 9/11.
Oh
And
wow.
I had speakers that were not able to fly in to speak at the conference, but I had, local researchers and also the recently deceased Dr. John Bendernagel, who was probably the single greatest person I've ever met in Bigfoot research. He didn't fly, so he and his wife had been on the road for about 5 weeks from Vancouver Island, not just Vancouver, British Columbia, but Vancouver Island.
Wow.
They had to take the ferry across, and they were driving down, visiting Bigfoot eyewitnesses and locations on the way for 4 to 5 weeks before, even the conference happened. So they were already well on their way. And
Wow.
so we still had about 130 people that showed up at that very first event. And, been doing it basically every year since then. Last year was the 20th anniversary. It's moved around a couple of times in Texas to other cities once it became popular. Other cities started courting us, wanting us to bring the conference to their city, and for a short time we did. But in 2014, I brought it back to Jefferson where it originally was, and it has been here since.
Wow, I like how you use your resources to your advantage. And since your
Sure.
mom had a bed and breakfast, how cool is that? I
Yeah.
mean, I would do the same thing if I were you. I would. Mark, Big Dog 5758, thank you so much for that super chat. And congratulations on your new job. I'm so proud of you. Thank you so much. You're the best. We do appreciate you. Everybody here is Hortus. But yeah, Craig, I am so excited about the enthusiasm that you have about Bigfoot and doing all these events. I mean, you didn't just stop at like a conference. You have the Bigfoot Research Center. Now, is that an actual, like a team of people that goes out, or is that a brick and mortar type of place? I mean, kind of explain what that is.
Well, it was never a brick and mortar. It was a
Mhm.
team, and I assembled a team that had skills that I didn't have when I started the research organization, when I co-founded it with the gentleman. I mean, I wasn't an outdoorsman or a
Uh-huh.
hunter or anything. I'm just somebody who had a Bigfoot encounter in 1994, and I wanted to try and find answers. So I assembled a team of people that had skills that were skills I didn't have, that were outdoorsmen or military or law enforcement or
That's smart. So smart.
hunters, fishermen,
Yeah.
people, wildlife trackers, wildlife biologists, all these people
Oh,
that
yeah.
had skills that were necessary, but weren't ones that I had myself. I mean, mine obviously was, organizational, from putting together the organization, organizing the conference. I'm working now that I'm here in Jefferson, working on putting up, a permanent Bigfoot museum. I host a Bigfoot film festival. I, host the Falk Monster Festival in Arkansas. Um, so, you know, to me, it's about educating the general public. I, like I said, been doing this since 2001. I've done many different things. In 2005 and six, I co-curated a 2,000 square foot Bigfoot museum exhibit with the University of Texas, San Antonio, at one of their campuses, which is a museum that was built for the 1968 World's Fair. So they contacted me,
Oh,
wanted to do a Bigfoot exhibit. So we put together a 2,000 square foot Bigfoot exhibit in their museum the summer of 2006. In San,
Back to the Future.
it
Yeah.
was an actual campus of the University of Texas who, pardon me, today lowered the boom on the Boomer Sooners 49-0 to Texas OU game today. I thought I'd throw
Okay.
for anybody who might be a fan of either team. But so, I've been interested in the subject as a kid.
Mhm.
When I was a kid, the summer of 1969, that's going to make me sound really old, but I am. This creature that was seen that summer by hundreds of people not far from downtown Fort Worth, called the Lake Worth Monster.
Oh,
Um,
yeah. I want to talk to you about that tonight for
yeah,
sure.
it was a big
Yeah.
deal that summer. I was fascinated with it. My grandparents lived in Fort Worth. They had a cabin cruiser boat out on Eagle Mountain Lake, which was separated by a dam from Lake Worth. And, you know, I was 9 years old that summer, and they saved it was on the front page of the Fort Worth Star Telegram. We're talking 10 days before man first landed on the moon, and the front page story was about this, you know, 7 foot tall, hair covered, walking on two legs creature out at the lake. And, um, you know, the next year I read a book by a gentleman named John Keel, who wrote the Mothman Prophecies. This book, however, was Strange Creatures from Time and Space. It came out
Mhm.
5 years before the Mothman Prophecies. And and that fascinated me. And then I saw the Legend of Boggy Creek a couple years later in the theater, and so that 4-year period of time really impressed me as a child, a youth, in the subject of cryptozoology. And but fast forward, life happens. I didn't really keep up with the subject that much, but as you mentioned, in 1994, I saw what I can only describe as a Bigfoot on a road trip that myself, my younger brother, and girlfriend, along with, that would be 3 of us, 9 other people, took that Memorial Day weekend. There was a group of 12 of us in 5 vehicles that went to New Orleans for the weekend. And coming back Monday on Memorial Day, 1994, this is before Google Maps or GPS or
Oh yeah,
map.
you had the paper map, right?
Yeah, paper map.
The
And you
folded up paper map in the dashboard.
you just laid out your course that you were going to take, and that's what you took. So we did. We left Dallas at about 5:30 Friday morning, and by the time we were in Central Louisiana, it was mid-morning, 10 o'clock or so, and everything was fine. We stayed all weekend. Like I said, 12 people, 5 cars. Well, on Monday, when the holiday was getting over, everybody had to be home at a different time, so all 5 cars left separately. Just so happened that my car left the latest because my girlfriend and I didn't have to be at work Tuesday. We had taken off, so we didn't leave New Orleans till about 9 o'clock Monday night. And as we're, traveling back, the 2-lane road that we had taken through Central Louisiana was now an unlit 2-lane road out in the middle of nowhere. No traffic, nobody. And so we're traveling down this 2-lane road, heading towards Alexandria, Louisiana, then on to Shreveport, when we were traveling through an area. There was a big swampy area on the left side of the road. On the right side of the road, there was a tree line, kind of a ditch like you will see on, roads where it goes down and then levels off. And there was a tree line, 20 to 30 feet out. Well, as we're driving, I had a little Isuzu Amigo, a little soft top SUV. Had the top rolled up because the weather was great. It was, May 30th. We're traveling. When on the right-hand side, we see a figure off to the right, between the edge of the road and the tree line. And as we get closer and closer, we probably only saw it, I don't know, maybe 7-8 seconds at speed in my headlights, but it was an upright figure. It was, well, I more know what it wasn't than what it was, but it wasn't a burned out tree stump. It wasn't a horse or a cow or, a hunter in a ghillie suit, a person in a gorilla suit. It was about a 7-foot tall upright figure on 2 legs, covered with light colored gray hair, that was actually walking parallel to the road.
Wow.
It was actually moving. It didn't look up at us. It didn't deviate from its path. It was just kind of, stooped over a little bit in the front. But it was actually walking. Its arms were swinging. Wow. And we saw that, and it was on her side. I was driving, so she's got a better look than me. But as we passed it, we both looked at each other and simultaneously said, "Did you just see what I just saw?" Just to verify that it wasn't hallucinating, wasn't, mistaking, saw something that wasn't there, or, whatever. And we agreed that we had, after you just see what I just saw. We both said yes. And I said, "What do you think you saw?" And she said, "I think I saw a Bigfoot." And I said, "We've got to stop." Don't know what I wanted to do. I wanted to get
with no top on your car. I don't know about that.
Yeah, it was a rolled up, plastic convertible top.
Yes. So not safe at all.
So she vehemently, disagreed that we should stop uttering a few choice words. Bad words were said, but so we didn't. We slowed down as we, about 10 minutes away, approached a small town called Bunkie, Louisiana. It's approximately between 11:30 at night on a Monday night.
Yeah.
There wasn't anybody out. There wasn't any lights on. There wasn't anything open. But we drove through town, and on the way out of town, there was a small church off to the right. So we pulled in that parking lot of that church that had a light pole in it. And like I said, my friend was in the back seat asleep. She had to be at work the next morning. She never woke up. But we pulled in, turned off the car, and talked about it for about 10 or 15 minutes. And, talked about what we had seen, what we thought. And then we got back on the road. My friend had to be at work, and we were still, probably 5.5 hours away from Dallas. So we got
that was
back
a long
on the
time to
road.
think.
Yeah, but you know
Yeah.
what? I don't really think we talked about it on the way home. I don't remember.
Yeah.
I don't really remember talking about it when we got home, telling anybody about it,
Interesting.
that it was
Yeah.
just something strange that happened to us.
Mm-hmm.
But, this is where it's going to blow some of your younger listeners' minds, is I was still 3 years away from getting internet access.
Man.
I wasn't
Back in
even
the
internet at that time.
Yeah, dinosaur era. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah. So, and then we're talking about, dial up.
Oh yeah, the modems. We know.
You remember
Yeah.
that sound?
Oh yeah, I
You're
remember.
you're not that old.
I didn't have internet when I was growing up, so we didn't have all that stuff. No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I'm not gonna tell everybody how old I am, but yeah.
yeah, I know.
I remember those days.
I kind of alluded to myself when I was mentioning that I was 9 years old in 1969. Not hard to do
Right.
that math, but anyway.
Yeah. That's funny.
So I, started looking up Bigfoot. Was the first thing I looked up, and found certainly not as much stuff as that is out there now, but there were
Right.
message boards and forums and stuff like that with, communities of people that were interested in the subject. And so
Mhm.
I found these communities and started talking, telling my story and meeting people, and found another gentleman that lived not too far away that wanted to start up a Bigfoot research organization. So we did. And
You were one of the pioneers then, because there weren't a whole lot of those back then.
no, there really weren't. I mean,
Yeah.
the only thing that was before that was online really was the BFRO, and that was, very, very, very primitive back then. They were created in '95, so I don't really know what their presence was like in '94. They weren't even around when it happened,
Yeah.
and I
Well,
wasn't on the
yeah.
internet to even find them. So it was, 3 years away. But I started talking to these people and telling them my story, and found out about a conference that was in Ohio. And, we started the organization. We put up a crappy Angel Fire free website, and started taking sighting reports, and people started
Wow.
contacting us wanting to get involved with what we were doing. And so we started doing that. And in 2000, went to the Ohio Bigfoot Conference, and, really felt at home. The people were really nice, and made you feel, like they were interested in what you had to say. And so I decided, we don't have anything like this in Texas. So I decided, I bet I could do this. Um, like I said, my
Yeah.
parents had a bed and breakfast and resources. So that's why it's in Jefferson, not necessarily because it's in great Bigfoot territory, but that's just where I had the resources to start it. And
Yeah.
it just so happened that the habitat, the history of sightings, and all that are in the area. So, like I said, the very first one was 4 days after 9/11. We still had about 130 people that showed up for the event. And so, we just started doing it annually, and people, I guess like Field of Dreams, if you build it, they will come. And so we started hosting the conference. I did that museum exhibit with University of Texas in San Antonio. Well, our whole organization did, but I co-curated it and helped, secure and catalog artifacts and such for the museum exhibit. And it was very well received. And we got a lot of, press coverage off of it. I mean, heck, it was University of Texas.
Yeah.
Sponsoring,
a Bigfoot
a
thing.
Bigfoot,
I mean, come on.
A Bigfoot museum. We also did 4 half-day conferences over that summer where we had everybody from Peter Byrne to Jeff Meldrum to Lauren Coleman to, all kinds of people that came in, and we did, a half-day conference, 4 of them during that summer. And so I didn't do a regular conference because I didn't have time to devote to the regular conference. This didn't end until August, and I didn't have the time needed to put together a conference. But then the organization reorganized as a 501c3. Then then everything started being done by committee, and it wasn't solely on me to plan the conference. And so other people on the committee wanted to explore other locations. We had a couple of cities that came to us and wanting to pitch their city to move it to. And it did get moved to the city of Tyler, which is about 50 times as big as Jefferson, with universities there, but it never really grew beyond what we did here. So I resigned from the organization in 2010 to focus on other things I needed to focus on. And the conference was held in Tyler 9, 10, and 11. The organization, after I left, even moved it to Fort Worth. In 2013, they got Josh Gates from Expedition Unknown.
Oh, yeah, very familiar. Everybody knows that name.
Yeah, to come and be a speaker. And even in Fort Worth, with the increased capacity, they, the attendance never increased. So they basically, the old organization gave up on it as, you can't do it as your annual fundraiser when you're not raising any funds. So in 2014, I brought it back to Jefferson as the original Texas Bigfoot Conference, and have been hosting it here ever since. So, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. So this year will be the 9th year that we've been back in Jefferson. And like I said, the mayor signed a proclamation. It's the Bigfoot capital of Texas. There's a Bigfoot statue here in town. All the restaurants have Bigfoot on the menu. There's
Bigfoot on the menu. Y'all don't eat Bigfoot, do you?
No. But Bigfoot burgers and stuff like that. Sasquatch sandwiches, Bigfoot barbecue, Bigfoot brisket. But no, it's not
the Bigfoot brisket. That sounds dangerous. I don't know if I'd eat that.
It's not like on the Flintstones when they bring out the brontosaurus ribs.
Yes.
At the drive-in restaurant, and it tips the Flintstone car over. But the town has really embraced it, and there's a lot of things to do here in town. There's also a lot of stuff that's haunted here in town. As a matter of fact, even next month, I'm bringing a UFO convention to town.
What?
Where I'm encouraging the people to dress up as their favorite alien, illegal or otherwise. And then in December.
Oh my goodness. I just got that. Okay. It took me a second on that one.
You're not blonde, are you? Let me see. No, you're not blonde.
Oh my gosh, Craig, that is too funny. You know what? Actually, so yeah, just threw me off. That was funny. Okay, so so have you actually noticed an uptick in Bigfoot sightings since you started doing this back in the, and even seeing your first one in 1994? Do you think there's more sightings now, or do you just think people are more comfortable talking about the sightings now?
Number one, to have a Bigfoot sighting, you have to have two things. You have to have a Bigfoot and you have to have a person to see it. So
That's
the thing
true.
to realize is that most sightings are very fleeting, maybe a couple of seconds. So, that's a couple of seconds out of 24 hours of that Bigfoot's day that they may have slipped up and been seen by a human. I think that my personal opinion that these things are uncatalogued primate of some kind. I don't believe them to be extraterrestrial or interdimensional or paranormal or I don't know for a fact, but my experiences all lead to a flesh and blood animal.
That's interesting because there's two camps. Okay, I've been doing this long enough to know there's two camps. There's the primate, like what you believe in, and then there's the other camp, which is where there's a
The,
supernatural aspect, right?
the woo.
The woo. I gotta say that's actually my camp, but I'm only
Are
saying
you
that
are you woo?
Well, I never called myself that, but I've been doing research long enough and I've seen some weird stuff.
Well,
Okay,
there is some weird stuff that happens, but
very
the
weird.
thing
Yeah.
the thing that gets me is when people ascribe UFO activity to Bigfoot. Here's my theory. If I'm out in the woods and I see strange lights in the sky, I'm going to be interested. I'm going to be curious. I'm going to want to try and check it out.
Yeah.
But who says that a Bigfoot out in the woods and sees strange lights in the sky isn't curious, wanting to check it out? That makes no correlation between the Bigfoot got off of the UFO.
That's
just like
true.
just like the human being that's there doesn't mean that they got off the UFO. I mean, what
Right.
if the Bigfoot sees the UFO and sees a human? Does it think, oh well, this person here just got off that craft?
Right. Well, I can tell you from experience because I have when I've been out doing Bigfoot field research, I've had UFOs flying over my head the whole night, multiple times. I've seen ETs with my own eyes. Okay, so
Well,
but
wait, wait,
it
wait.
doesn't mean they were
When you
connected
say
though.
ET, you mean actually
Aliens.
an alien
Yes, sir.
person, creature, being?
Yes. I believe that's what it was. Yes.
Okay,
Yeah. But it wasn't with a Bigfoot though. But
exactly.
it was while I was actually doing research in the Bigfoot field. So that's why people make those connections. But
But
I see both
but
sides of it. So I
like I
agree with
said,
you.
there's you know is the Bigfoot supposed to connect you to the UFO that you're associated with the UFO? No, you're
I
curious
might
about it.
be. I might be an alien myself. Who knows?
Okay, you might be.
Yes, I might be. I don't know.
Well,
At this point, I don't know
if the
what's what now.
choice came to being the alien or the contactee, you know, you got to pick which side of the probe you want to be on.
The probe. Say no if you can to those.
Exactly.
Okay.
I
Yeah.
mean, if given the choice, would you rather be the prober or the probee?
Well, I just don't know if some of us just don't get a choice in this matter
Well, that's
sometimes.
true.
So, but but you
That
know
is
what?
so true.
You have a very open mind about this in a way because you are having a UFO conference. Okay, so that tells me
Yeah,
that you do have an open mind
I
about the
am.
possibilities here.
Well, I am certainly interested in UFOs. I'm certainly curious. I
Hmm.
certainly walk outside at night and see all the stars in the sky, and I can realize that those stars are potential suns, just like our sun is a star, with
Hmm.
potential planets orbiting all of those stars that could potentially be human-like and have intelligent life on them. And if there's
Yeah.
not anybody else out there, that's an incredible waste of space.
Yeah. Well, you know what? Why don't we? I really wanted to talk to you tonight about the local legends and lore that include Bigfoot, but also go into the Goat Man. Okay. Like you were talking about the Lake Worth monster tonight. And
Right.
I really wanted to kind of touch on that a little bit before we have to go tonight. I mean, we have a little while left, but I really would like to talk about why are there so many Goat Man sightings in Texas where you are?
Well,
Um,
there's
I yeah,
also Dogman.
and
This is the
Dogman. I was going to
you
ask you about
know
that too.
well, personally, and it may offend people. I personally believe that Dogman sightings are misidentified Bigfoot. Personally, I know that Bigfoot's out there. I've seen one. Um, I when you start talking about Dogman, then you start looking at werewolf, and that does have a supernatural connotation, because if go back to the old the old stories from Europe, lycanthropes and stuff, where
Mm-hmm.
somebody actually transforms into a wolf man. I mean, but so what is dog man supposed to be? Is it supposed to be half man, half dog?
I
Is it
don't think so. I've studied it a lot. I think it's something totally different.
okay?
Yeah.
What is the rating of this show?
What do you mean? The
Like
rate? Oh, like yeah.
mature
Try
audience?
like no cussing if you can help it,
Okay, so you would
because we're
rate it
broadcasting. Yes, but it's
13?
fine. Just it's like, I mean, it could be like R, but
Oh,
13 to R. Okay.
okay. Well, here's
I don't know.
my question about
Nobody's ever asked me that before. That's funny.
well, that's because my question about Dogman.
I'm so worried about what you're gonna say right now.
You probably already, but I'll keep it less than
Just
R
keep it
rated.
PG a little bit. Yeah.
Yes,
Try
PG.
just a little over that.
Okay,
Okay.
half man, half dog. Which half is man? Which half is dog? I want to know: does Dogman have a red rocket?
Oh man, I don't know. I have not looked into that
Okay,
before.
that gives you something to look
But
into.
you know what? People have talked about how they have seen dog women, and they do have breasts, like a human female. There's not like
They don't have
6
like
of them. There's
eight
2.
boobs down their chest.
No, they have said that,
What's
I
up
know
with
someone
that?
personally who saw one that was female. I believe she might have had puppies, like pups,
Well, see,
dog
then that
puppies.
throws the whole theory out that
Mhm.
it's really a canine of some sort, because canines don't have boobs.
Well,
They
I
have
think
eight nipples to feed their litter.
I can't say. I think it's something. To me, it's something that's kind of supernatural in a way. It's very
Well,
paranormal.
and it may be
Yeah.
because if it goes back to the old legends and lore of werewolves, I can't accept it as a half man, half dog, half wolf.
Yeah,
But
it is an anomaly. It is for sure.
and
But
I believe in things that are unknown. I have encountered ghosts. I have seen strange lights in the sky.
Mhm.
A lot of the UFO activity is around military bases, and I personally believe that more than likely that stuff is military aircraft that we don't know about. Because just think,
Probably.
how long do you think that they worked on um, the stealth bomber before they rolled it out on the runway for the public to see it? I bet it was at least 20 years that they had engineered that, test flown it, all that stuff. And so, to think that, it's gathered around a military base, well, more than likely to me, that means it's military aircraft that is, so far advanced, we don't know about it yet.
Right. There's so much that we don't know about, including
Exactly.
Dogman. Okay.
Exactly. We
And
don't
even
know if he has.
werewolves,
We don't know if he has a red rocket, or if the females have 2 breasts or the row of nipples.
Well, like I said, I do know an eyewitness who's a good friend of mine who did say that he saw a female and she had 2 breasts. So
Okay.
that was what he saw. So, and I've heard that from other people before. So it's just from eyewitness accounts, and you can't really
Yeah.
discount anyone's personal accounts.
No.
That's what they
you can't.
saw, So
Right.
it's all about being the researcher and
So
investigator,
I hope I haven't offended anybody with my.
You haven't
with
offended
my.
me at all.
I have not
So
offended you.
we're good. No, you know what? Because I like hearing everybody's stories, every account. It all matters. Okay.
Sure.
So this is fun. It's actually a lot of fun. Now there's going to be people that disagree with you, and that's okay. People
Sure.
disagree with me all the time. I'm actually a remote viewer, and I remote view paranormal attacks and things that are like the Dogman,
Have
paranormal.
you ever remote viewed a Bigfoot?
Yes, I have many times. That's actually what my team does. We remote view
And
Bigfoot and all sorts of stuff.
what have been the results of that? Because
Well, it
I,
depends.
I'm as interested, if not more interested, in your stuff than you
Yeah.
are in mine. So
Yeah.
I'm going to interview you now.
Yes. Oh
So
no. What? This is
what have
my
you
show.
remote
I'm just
viewed?
kidding.
What have you
Yes.
remote viewed
Well, it
regarding
depends.
that?
I've actually remote viewed several different types of Bigfoots all over the place, and when I remote view them, it is a lot of them are stories that we've heard, like the attack of Ape Canyon, okay,
Right.
or the mystery at Portlock, Alaska, or the giant of the Okefenokee Swamp down in South Georgia back in the 1800s. It's all different. And the ones that I've looked into, a lot of them were just very territorial. Okay. The ones in Alaska were actually eating humans, okay, and killing them. But most of them that I remote view are they're just territorial and they don't want to be around humans. They don't like humans being around, stepping over the territory, the kill zone line they've got
Oh,
there. They'll hurt people. Yeah. Things like that. So,
well,
but
I myself have never interviewed anybody credible that's ever claimed, to be injured, attacked, certainly killed. It'd be hard for them to tell you about it, but by a Bigfoot. But I know there's stories out there, and I go back to the fact that I think it's an uncatalogued primate, an ape of some kind. We're apes. Humans are
yeah,
considered ape, a primate. So I mean, people want to say, oh, it's a Neanderthal, or it's a primitive human, or who knows? Nobody knows. Nobody that I know has ever had a body to examine. That doesn't mean that nobody has, but I don't know of anything like that. I mean,
yeah,
there's talk of, people, in the government known that they've been captured and studied. I mean, I don't know, but to me, the most likely scenario, Occam's razor. The most likely
mhm,
scenario is usually the correct one. To me, you know um
yeah.
it's some time to me it's some type of primate that has not been cataloged as far as we know by science. And while they seem to, like you said, avoid humans, but they're also very curious about it as well.
They
So
are.
the
Yeah.
catch 22. I mean, I've interviewed witnesses that have had them come into their camp in the middle of the night. I've talked to people that have lived in rural communities and seen them around, had them around their house, where they may even peer in their windows at night or whatever. So I mean, they seem to be curious but yet try to avoid us. So I think that most Bigfoot sightings are accidents on the Bigfoot's part.
Oh, yeah, totally.
And like I said, a Bigfoot sighting may be a couple of seconds out of 24 hours. So for people to say they do this or they do that, or they know this or they know that, again, if somebody saw a Bigfoot that was um had found a half empty Coke can on the side of the road and picked up the Coke and started drinking it, and that's all they saw, so they now say, well, we know that Bigfoot drinks Coca-Cola, because we saw it. And it's like, well, you know that's just like if aliens, you know, um, saw a person for 5 seconds and based, that's the human race based on, the one guy who, was a criminal, or whatever. You can't make assumptions based on a couple of seconds long observation. So
Yeah, that's
um,
true.
it's, and people that say they know, I don't know how they know,
Yeah.
because as far as I know, nobody's got one on a slab, has dissected it and knows what they are, or anything like that. I mean, you know
Yeah. Well, you know what I find very interesting is that with, I do a whole lot of interviews and I go out and I do a lot of research with different people from all over the country. And what I'm seeing is a lot of people who, especially the ones that have kind of gotten into this recently within the past few years into the Bigfoot research are more kind of leaning on the side of these beings being supernatural and
Right.
having abilities that are not just primate, and so I think that that's kind of where the new generation that's coming in doing this is kind of headed that way. So,
Right.
you know, I don't know where it's going in the future, but I do see that there's a trend right now.
Hmm.
Yeah. So,
Well, and there's the whole deal, with the popularity of it now. I mean,
yeah.
especially the Bigfoot researchers say, oh, like, Expedition Bigfoot or Finding Bigfoot, makes a mockery of Bigfoot research or whatever.
Yeah.
Well, those shows aren't made for Bigfoot researchers. First of all, there'd only be about 5,000 people watching. Second of all, the TV show would be people
True.
sitting around a camp at night with nothing happening,
It's so boring in real life. Okay. I
and
mean, it's fun,
nobody,
but it's boring when it comes to the research
right,
sometimes. Okay.
nobody would watch that on TV.
No, it's everybody sitting around in the dark just listening, you
Right.
know.
That's not entertaining. So these shows are, these
They
are
have
made
to
for
have a
the
little
general
extra.
public and
Right.
kids, which is a good thing because now kids have gotten into these shows and are interested in Bigfoot, interested in cryptozoology, because I tell you what, all us old timers are getting old and won't be here forever. And who's going to carry on, if not the youth of today has to get interested, just like I
Yeah.
got interested as a kid, you know.
Oh yeah. And my son's interested. He's 8. He loves it.
Yeah,
So yeah, there's a whole all the generations. I mean, and the kids are so immersed in it now. Where I didn't have that luxury when I was a kid. I had
no,
to go searching for it.
I didn't have internet till I was 37.
I didn't
Now
have
2-year-olds have tablets.
I know, and cell phones and all that
Yeah,
stuff.
it's crazy.
Yeah.
So, I mean, hopefully it carries on. There's, like I said, the older generation is dying off, and new blood needs to take over. And hopefully, oh, that's just my opinion. Hopefully, some of them continue on with what's going on, and
Yeah.
and
I think they will.
for it to continue. Who knows? I know many have come and gone and thought that the mystery would be solved before they passed away, and it hasn't happened yet.
Yeah.
Great men like John Green and Grover Krantz and Renee DeHenden that spent years and years and years looking into it. Starting back in the 50s and still have no answers. I mean, I can't think of it right offhand, but there's a great quote by John Green that where he talked about how he had pretty much devoted his life to it to getting the answers and hoped that the answers would be there before he passed away. But he figured that just like so many of his friends and colleagues that wouldn't be the case, and it's not the case. He passed away a few years ago, and devoted, you know, more than 50 years of his life to investigating this and writing books and collecting reports. And, it's just, who knows
Yeah.
when
Well,
I firmly believe that these creatures are out there.
mhm.
I can't explain away my own personal experience as anything else. So, as far as I know, you know, um, they're out there,
Absolutely.
and while it isn't necessarily taken serious by science, um, or who knows the government, but it's left to citizen science. It's left to the amateur researcher to go out there and try and collect evidence and solve this mystery.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I'm on 3 different research teams. Okay. And I've been doing this for a while. And
How
we
come?
go out
How
there and have
come?
fun.
How come you've never come here to Texas?
I just haven't. You know what? This is really cool, right? Right before the show tonight, I have a good friend that lives in Texas. He called me. He has some Sasquatches that live on his property, and he let me listen to them chatter tonight on over the
Wow.
phone. Yeah. So I know there's a lot of activity out there, and I know that the guys from Texas Front Porch, Tex and Jason, and Rob's going to be at your conference too.
Right.
But they have a lot of had a lot of experiences out there, and all the other guys. I know a lot of people out there. Okay,
Right.
but it's just because I haven't gotten out there. I'm busy over here in Georgia. We've got a lot of Bigfoots here, Craig, in Georgia and all
Okay.
over the South.
Yeah.
Yeah, but but yeah, I can't wait to hear all about your conference next weekend. Tell us a little bit about that. I do have some pictures to pull up tonight. Um,
Okay.
let's see what all we have here. I've got. I guess this is your logo for the conference.
That's the T-shirt
Your
logo.
T-shirt.
Um,
Okay.
we I had a a guy that a professional artist that does event posters and such. That so the it's really a fine art print for this year, and I'm having them printed twice as big as normal. So it's really a nice piece of art for if you are
I
into
like
Bigfoot
it.
to hang on your wall.
Man, the colors are my favorite. Those are my favorite colors, by the way. So,
It
yeah,
is.
it is. It's
So
awesome.
we got Adam Davis, who's originally from the UK, he lives in the US here, and he's a world explorer. I mean, he's
Yeah.
explored on every continent except Antarctica looking for cryptids.
Oh,
For
nice.
many years. Lauren Coleman, who's been into cryptozoology since the year I was born, 1960. So, you know, I feel old,
Wow.
but he's been doing it for as long as I've been here.
Amazing.
Lyle Blackburn and Ken Gerhard,
Oh,
two
yeah. We know
you
them.
know two Texan monster hunters. We
Yeah, I
have
actually met Ken at the Alabama Bigfoot Conference.
okay,
So that was fun. That was a good time.
yeah, we
Yeah.
got Shelley Covington, Montana, who devotes about 4 months out of the year. She solo camps in the Pacific Northwest.
Oh,
Um,
yeah.
this year, she also did a lot in Alaska,
She's brave. Very
camp
brave.
by herself.
Yeah, I wouldn't do that.
Like I said, I believe in safety in numbers.
Me too. Me too. We have
It's just
protocol, man.
if
Our team, we don't go anywhere alone out in the woods.
yeah, if
Yeah.
it's just you and Bigfoot out there, then you do have to outrun the Bigfoot.
You have to be you have to protect yourself. That's for sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because like I said, you know, people that ask about attacks on humans. In my opinion, again, it's a primate. Just as if you were, like you had here in the Dallas Zoo years ago, Jabari, the gorilla that got loose in the zoo
Ooh.
and had to be shot and killed. If cornered, any wild animal is going to attack to protect itself.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, we have to be careful out there. There's a lot
exactly,
more than just Bigfoot out there.
sure.
Okay. And
The most
Dogman.
dangerous thing is probably humans.
I think yeah, we're pretty dangerous. I can
Yeah,
be dangerous if I need to be. Okay.
that's what I've heard.
I know.
That's what I've heard.
Y'all have no idea. Y'all have no idea.
That's
Okay.
right.
But
But
yeah, this is
you
this
have,
is gonna be awesome.
like
Yeah.
somebody on a pot grow farm,
Oh
that's
gosh, yes, I've
protecting,
heard about that.
you know, people disappear out there,
That's
and
right.
there's bear and
Cougars,
wolves, there's
mountain lions.
mountain lions, yeah, and
That's
so
right.
there's plenty of things that can hurt you,
Yeah.
breaking your ankle out by yourself, and whatever. There's many ways to expire out in the woods
Yeah.
that aren't necessarily Bigfoot. So many people, the first thing I want to do is jump on Bigfoot.
Hmm.
Oh, that sound or that stick structure or this or that had to be Bigfoot.
Yeah.
Had to be Bigfoot because there's not any people out here. Well, duh, you're there, so obviously people come there. So many
Exactly.
people say, so many people that see something say, there's nobody, no people come out here. But yet you're a person and you saw it. So explain that logic to me.
Yeah. Well, sometimes there is no logic, and that's the beauty of all this.
Right.
Now, now, Craig, next week you got the Texas Bigfoot Conference. Where exactly is this going to be held, and where can people get tickets?
Information is on Facebook. You can look up Texas Bigfoot Conference 2022. Texas Bigfoot Conference will tell you everything that's going on with the event, the ticket packages, everything that's going on is all there. Like I said, I've got the UFO convention coming up in November.
Yeah.
Same deal. All that information's there. I got the film festival coming up in December. We're screening 7 Bigfoot films in one day. One screen, one day, 7 films.
Wow. Let's see.
With directors and producers there or on Zoom to introduce their films. We've got, I do the Falk Monster Festival in the spring next year. So there you go, in April 29th, 2023. That's hugely popular. You know, people that saw the movie, The Legend of Boggy Creek.
Oh, yeah. I met Keith Crabtree. He was at the Alabama Bigfoot Conference. He played the monster. Yeah.
Well, he was one of 3. He was one of 3 guys that played the monster.
Cool dude.
But you know, there was a lot of locals that were in that movie. A great movie, came out in 1972. You know, still love that film. I mean, I wouldn't host the Falk Monster Festival, which is a tribute to, you know, the Falk Monster and the Legend of Boggy Creek.
Oh yeah.
As a matter of fact,
classics.
This year is the 50th anniversary of the film's release. This year.
Wow.
So that movie's been around for 50 years, and it's now available. You know, it's been restored, remastered, digitized. It's available in Blu-ray and 4K, and you can actually see it at least as good as when it originally came out on 35 millimeter.
All right.
You know, up until now, all of the releases of that movie were bootlegs off of VHS, which they were pan and scan. You know, even the digitized was off of a copied off of VHS tape.
Oh, the good old days, right? The good old days. Well, you know, we've run out of time tonight. Oh my gosh.
The party's over?
The party's over. And everybody, y'all, please go check out cryptomundo.com. That is the best website for all of the cryptid news and shows. That's the creation of Craig Woolheeder, everybody. So y'all, please go check that out. Craig, thank you so much for being here. I'm sorry to cut this short, but we have to go. We've got after hours coming on, and and I hope that you're I not just hope, I know it's going to be a huge success, your conference, and I can't wait to hear about it. So thank you for joining me tonight.
I can't wait for you to plan to come next year. Then
I will. I'll plan on it. I will. I got a lot of friends out that way, and now I got you you're my new friend out there. Yeah, so I'll be there.
You'll fit in because I just heard you say. I will.
Hey, y'all. I will.
I will.
All right,
You'll fit right into Texas. You'll fit right in.
I will. Okay. Thank you, Craig. You have a great night, and we will see you next time. We're going to bring you back one night. Okay?
Okay, Jessica.
All right.
Good night, too.
Thank you. All right. Bye, Craig. Okay, everybody. That was awesome. Don't forget that right after this show, join After Hours Crew. They're going live right now on an incredible mysterious journey for the next 3 hours. Next time on Off the Trails, I have the Sasquatch Sisters Northwest coming on, including my friend Tanya. Okay, they're going to take us, tell us all about their adventures on Hoodoo Mountain. I can't wait to see y'all tomorrow night. But for now, I'm the Cryptid Huntress, Jessica Jones. After Hours is next. You guys have a wonderful night, and I'll see y'all tomorrow.